Hi, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I want to talk about something comes along with these dogs that I want to explain. When I say let a dog be a dog and let dogs do dog stuff, I believe that people take that term, those terms and that word and that saying the completely wrong way. And the wrong way in the same way that someone could say let a boy be a boy. As if you could just allow boys to just be destructive, be chaos and just destroy and just beat down and break and hurt and manipulate and cheat and steal and, oh, it's just a boy, he's just doing boy stuff. That's so silly to me, but that's how most people look at it. In the same sense with the dog. Oh, just let a dog be a dog. Just let it run the whole neighborhood when it wants. Just let it just keep on chewing and biting people and barking at people and doing whatever it feels like doing in the moment. It's just a dog. It's just a dog. Dogs bite, so you just got bit, so it is what it is. That's a thing that I want people to really start to, get that out of your brain. That's not what it means by allowing a dog to be a dog. At least what I want to say is what I mean by allowing a dog to be a dog. A dog being a dog means that dogs do dog stuff that we as humans don't do. And just because we as humans find things that dogs do is disgusting doesn't mean that the dog doesn't think that it's the world's greatest thing on the planet. So you need to understand that a dog does things that it just has in it to do. That is, it's just a dog. Such as the one thing that I really want to talk about today and how I know a lot of people can get a lot of help with their dog in a very short amount of time. Maybe not 5 minutes, but it might take you a couple of days to a couple of weeks to see a change in something that allow your dog to be a dog. They smell urine, they smell poop of all animals. It's not only just dogs, but it's something that I've realized, especially when it comes down to the concept of dogs smelling other dogs' feces, that it's something that is disgusting to us. I'm not out here trying to smell it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it smells like. I know what it smells like, but I ain't trying to be near it because it's disgusting to me. But this is the concept of allow a dog to be a dog, and because the dog has that in it, that's what it does. So let it be a dog. Don't worry about how you feel about what it smells like, what it is, but know that it's something that your dog absolutely just, for whatever reason, desires. Some dogs even eat it. And for me, I just know that that's a nutrient deficiency in the dog for the most part, that why they're eating it. But it's something that the dogs just have in them to do. And it's something that, for some reason, the dogs have in them that they communicate to each other through that. Sorry, I'm trying to do this sun in the back to see what it looks like. I don't know if this is going to look all messed up or not, but I don't really care. It is what it is. Just listen to what I'm saying. But the dogs leave stories behind, and they tell information through their feces, through their urine. And it's something that is just who knows what and who knows why and who can really understand it. No one really understands it still. I don't care what science has to state on it. They do not understand how a dog's nose works. It's something that, at the end of the day, I'm probably going to die on this planet without really knowing. We don't know. And we can try and guess and we can try and theorize, but we just do not know. And one thing that I do know that is very strange, because I get to see the big differences here of when I come out here and I walk in these places out here, that when my dogs smell other dogs' poop, they don't really get this. They just smell it. They're like, oh, hey, and then they move on. But there's something strange about when I go to neighborhoods, because there's times that I go through neighborhoods to get back onto a trail and just doing what I'm doing. I'm all over the place. I'm never just in one location. And I noticed something very strange, especially when it comes down to this dog here, this, Kai, come here. Hi. It comes down to this dog because his nose is much different than what my other dogs are. And his nose is I want to use the word, it's very powerful, what he's able to do with it. And it's incredible to see how he is. But it's something that happens when I go into neighborhoods, that sometimes he smells some stuff and he gets this the only thing that I can say is fear runs over him. He gets scared, he gets nervous. He smells something, he's just like, ooh, what is that? Sometimes he smells something and he literally is trying to get the heck out of here. He stops, he smells, and then he's forward on the leash, trying to just pull and get the heck out of this location. And it's something that I've learned that when he's doing that, I just stand there and I stay and I wait it out. Because there's something that's going on that in reality, just when I really think about this concept, because I've done this with many dogs that live in communities such as condos and townhouses and duplexes and just these communities where there's 1,000 people that live within one spot. And those 1,000 people, there's 1,000 dogs that all go to the potty in the same 5 locations. And there's those 5 locations that have all of it in those little waste bins, and some people just don't pick it up because it is what it is. But it's just 1,000 of dogs that are just all in there. And a lot of these dogs are stressed, are anxious, are nervous, are fearful. A lot of them. And the story that the dog is leaving behind, in my mind, is something scary out here. There's something to be nervous about. Get out of here as fast as possible. And if you have, say, 10 dogs that are doing that all in one location, the 11th dog that comes in is going to say, I don't want to be here. I got to get out of here. I don't want to do this. And then the 12th dog is going to say the same. It's just going to give you a trickle effect at every single dog. And then that 11th dog that came in, it's going to potty say, yep, scary. I got to get out of here. And it's just going to keep amplifying, amplifying, amplifying. It's a story behind that the dog leaves. It's like us as humans would do the same sense in like writing a letter. I can write a letter, say, hey, watch out for the, it's not funny, but this is a messed up scenario. But when I was in Afghanistan, this is how they would know where live minefields were at. They would paint the rocks. So they would just take a regular smooth rock like this and just paint on half of it red and on the other half white. And they would place it on the ground to say, red that way, danger, don't go that way. When I see that, I'm going to say, oh, heck, I'm not going to go down there. I'm going to stay out of that. I'm going to stay over here where it's safe, where it's already, let's say, verified safe. We verified over there that something more likely happened, that someone's life literally was more likely lost, to figure out, like, that's an active landmine back there. So I'm going to look at that and make a decision of saying, I'm going to stay away from there. So I can only see in the sense that the same dogs are doing the exact same thing based on the behavior that I see that they do. They're gonna just smell something and say, oh, that's danger over there. Let me stay away from that. Let me go over here instead. And the biggest thing behind that is, this is where complications start to happen. This is where the complications start to happen. Because when your dog starts to smell something, it starts to get fearful. And or the dog is smelling something and starts to get excited. And you're sitting here like, don't be scared, because what's going on with the dog in the most cases, it's pulling to get somewhere. Most dogs that I see when they're pulling to get somewhere, they're pulling to smell something. So if they smell something like, ooh, I got to pull over here to smell over here, and they're on this erratic rampage, most cases they're getting that information of danger, 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 and they're looking for a place of safety. So they're just pulling. They finally find a place that's safe, and they're like, oh, we're just staying here for a little bit. And they hang out. Most dogs are pulling into smelling something. And this is where things get complicated, I'm going to say. Is because when a dog is pulling, what's the first thing that we want the dog to stop doing? Pulling, right? So what is the first thing that we do to try to get the dog to stop pulling? Whatever we possibly can. So usually it starts off with just yank the dog with the leash. Most cases, I'm going to say, most people will do. You're just yanking and yanking and yanking and yanking and yanking. So what's going on in the dog's brain in that moment in reality is the dog is going into, it smells something that, let's go on the fear side of it up front, that it's scared of. You're yanking the dog away from, like, don't be able to have the chance to be able to escape, to be able to avoid, to be able to troubleshoot, to be able to figure out, do I actually need to be in immediate danger? Or is this just some fictitious stuff that's going on right now? If there's potty on the ground right there, we're not in the danger that we're going to die right now. We don't know what's going to happen, but we know right this moment, right this second, hey, we're safe, we're fine. There's nothing around. Like, look, there's no mountain lion, there's no craziness, there's no bears, there's no tigers, there's no nothing. We're fine. But the dog is going to perceive that the instant chemical makeup of, I need to escape, I need to run away, there's something scary going on. And then the first thing that we do is, what is that? Man, what's a good word? Something with a V. I'll forget that word. But the first thing that we do is say to the dog, yeah, you should be scared. And then we're double downing in that dog. In worst case scenario, you're trying to convince the dog to stop pulling, to stop escaping, to stop doing what it's doing by, let me give it a treat. So then you give the dog a treat, and then we're just double downing into, you should be scared, you should be scared, you should be scared. Continue to keep on being scared with what's going on here. This is the part that, if you really want to see something different here, because I've done this a lot, and with a lot of dogs, and this is the part that I've gotten so much better with my Shepherd Kahi on why he doesn't take off anymore. He used to just smell and smell and smell and smell and smell. The dude would just be gone. Because I would just get to a point that I would allow him to smell, and I would just stand there, and I'd wait. Because I could see that he starts to get, like, stressed. He starts to get, like, anxious. He starts to get nervous. So all I would do is just be there. I would just stand there. So I would have him on his flat collar, I'd have him on his leash. I would just use my bungee leash. I don't know why I like that leash so much, because it gives enough. I like this thing. I don't know why. It gives, so it doesn't give this like harsh jerking pulling, and it gives. So I'm gonna stand there, and he's got 6 feet basically to just, we're staying here. So what starts to happen is he smells that initial spot, and he's like, I gotta go. Then I'm like, nope, we're gonna stay here. Until what? He calms down. And what happens is, he may be 6 feet, but what happens is he starts to get closer and closer and closer. And in most cases, he like goes back and verifies it again. He smells it again. In most cases, on that second time, he's like, oh, heck no, I still got to get out of here. And I'm like, no, buddy. We're going to just stay here. So we just stay there. I'm calm. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying yes. I'm not touching him. I'm not eyeballing him. I'm not giving no treats. I'm not doing nothing to him. I'm not yanking and cranking on him. I'm not doing anything but just being a body, being calm and being patient and being there. Third, fourth time, he goes back and he investigates it. He smells it. He looks at me. He's like, oh, there's nothing to worry about. What am I trying to get out of here so fast for? What am I on this anxious rampage for right now? Let me just hang out. Let me just stay here and just chill. He gets calm, I get calm, we're both calm. Okay, let's move forward now. Now the next time that he smells that same thing, it's not gonna be this huge duress, this huge issue. It's gonna be less and less and less and less and less. But here's the thing. This is something that we need to understand, that dogs are dogs and dogs need to do dog things. Dogs smell, let the dog smell. Allow the dog to get it all out. Because the same thing, I've seen this from excited side and the fearful side. The dog smells something and gets excited, like, oh my goodness, there's something great, there's something amazing, there's something fantastic happening. And I'm just gonna stand there and I'm gonna be calm until that excitedness, everything goes back to neutral calm. We're just hanging out, just chilling. And then when a dog is chill, I was like, okay, you wanna go smell it again? He's like, no, I'm good, let's just move on. So we move on. This is a thing that day by day, I noticed that my dog stopped wanting to pull me on the leash, because there's that extra excitableness, that extra fearfulness just starts to disappear. Again, I see most every dog pull to smell to something. That's why my first go-to for every single dog I get on leash, I put it on a leash, I go outside and I say, what do you want to do? And the dog pulls me to a tree, to a bush, to a rock, to a something. It pulls me somewhere and it starts to smell. When it starts to smell, that's where you need to verify what's going on with what he's smelling. If she's smelling something that is getting her frightful, that, oh, I gotta run, I gotta get out of here, you need to just stand there and wait. Stand there and wait until the dog can just relax, completely chill out, until there's nothing going on, until it's just normal. Because there's no danger that's happening in that moment. And the dog needs to be able to see that, process that, go through all those feelings all on their own without trying to run away from it. Because at first they're gonna run away. This is where the leash, in reality, helps be able to allow the dogs into our society faster, is what I want to say. Not even faster, but just gets them into our society. That is something that dogs just have to do. They have to be able to live. Kahi, I don't care if you chew it, just go somewhere with it. Here, come here, bring it to me. You're not going to do that. You're good. Oh, for you too? I don't care if you chew it, just go somewhere with it. Hold on a second. Let me get that. Here, go down there with it. Kahi, let me get that. Go down here with it. You're good. Go get it. If he's gonna take both of them, I guess. It is what it is. I don't know what it is, but sorry, I think it's gonna have to do with settings and figure itself out. But I just don't like, I don't know what it is. It's something with me. That's just I guess you call it a pet peeve. I just don't like them chewing like right next to me. Like, go chew over there. Go chew whatever you want. Just chew it over there. Just don't chew it all on top of me. I don't know why that irritates me a little bit. Irritate is a good word to use right there. I don't know why, but that's just me and my stuff. You got to be at least 15, 20 feet away. Chew all you want to chew, but just don't do it right here next to me. It's very strange to me. But something that I noticed with these dogs is they want to smell something, and then we're restricting them from being able to. So the dog's gonna run away, and this is how we can fast track. Sorry, I got off. I got to figure it out. I got back on track. Fast track, get them into our society. I can't allow so society's like where I'm doing here. My dogs are just free and running. I can't clearly do this in the neighborhood. I'm gonna do it when the place dictates what I can do. So I need to be able to allow my dogs to know, hey, just because you live on, say, my land, on the farm land, and you got all the space to be able to run when I go for a walk, there's more area to be able to move, you also need to know how to be able to be a functioning member in society, because I take you guys into society. That's something that I would say is new in the past about 100 years that didn't used to be that way as often. Most people you didn't need to take your dog to town all that much. You just put it in the truck and then you would leave, like how my border collie lives. He just goes in the truck, and I take him places, but he doesn't really go in the stores and the shops, and he just hangs out, and then we go back to the farm. And then he gets out and he just does what he does. But most people don't live that way anymore. So the leash is how we able to get the dogs to be able to be in society. So in my mind, it fast tracks them still with being able to get through the set issues that are going on. Because city, I see this all the time. My dogs are out here, I'm telling you, when they're out here and they smell stuff, there's nothing going on with them. They're just like, oh, let's move on. They just smell it and move on. But when I go into neighborhoods, these dogs freak out. They freak out because there's just weird extraness that's going on. There's just so much more concentrated of people, so much more going on that the dogs start to get overstimulated. So through that overstimulation, I have to let them know, like, it's okay. There's nothing to worry about here. So that 6 feet, they have a chance to be able to run away. So they may be pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling. From the first time they go and they stop, they smell. If they smell something and they're not calm, I'm not moving. If they're instantly trying to go somewhere, I'm going to stand there and stay there for I don't care how long this is going to take. Every single time it gets faster and faster and faster and faster and faster until the point that it starts to become instant. And it is going to always become instant because everything is always going to be able to get to the point of indifference, especially. This is where you'll get me. It's going to take more time if there is an actual dog right there in the dog's face. That may take a little bit more. But as far as something left behind, the dog is going to learn, okay, everything is fine here. But the dog needs to understand what's left behind before it can even deal with, if it's terrified of other dogs, to even go face to face with the dog. I'd rather get a letter from somebody and read it and see how hostile things are as opposed to meeting them in person, in the face. You're going to get a different understanding of getting through that fear if you're able to like see it without being able to see it. You can read the story without having to see the actual being itself. So I'm going to stand and wait there because what always starts to happen is the dog may get pulling. It's going to get moving. It's going to get doing. It's going to get cruising. And then I'm going to just stand there. At some point, the dog's going to just give up. It's going to say, okay, what's going on here? What's happening? I can't run away from it. I got to stick and stay in it. And that's when they usually go back and investigate it again. That's the say positive reinforcement of the dog right there, to go back and investigate it again on its own. I may point, but the dog needs to know, I got to go check that out again to make sure what I was sensing was real or not. What they're sensing may be danger, but it's not actually real. It's a false danger. It's not immediate. It's just something that is there that is just who knows what, but it's not happening right this second. So they investigate it. And then they keep investigating, they keep investigating, they keep investigating, and they realize they could smell, they could look, they could smell, they could see, they're going to smell, they're going to realize like, oh, everything is fine. This is something that I've just noticed has been able to help lots of dogs, because it's something that is in a dog to do, and allowing a dog to just be a dog, to do what the dog needs to do. It's to smell what they need to smell, and to be able to leave the information behind that they need to be able to leave behind based on what it is that they're smelling. And that's how they're able to start a dialogue, start a communication, start things to be able to get to a place where it's like, hey, for one, I'm not a threat, I'm not a danger to you. So don't worry about being a threat, don't worry about being a danger to me. Because most cases, it's just the unfortunate thing. Everyone is just on this rampage of, I'm trying to get my dog to stop pulling. And you're trying to do everything in your power to punish the dog in reality, straight up, to not do such a thing. You're trying to punish the dog to not be a dog. You're trying to punish the dog to not be scared, trying to punish the dog to not be excited. And it's just not going to work. It's going to work short term. But then you're just going to be walking around with a dog that is just kind of always going to be a little bit on edge, always a little bit nervous, and are always a little bit too excited. And then when it starts to get to that stance, you're not really going to have like a follow-through method to be able to get the dog out of that. This is the thing of when you start to get neutral. Now it takes so much more for the dog to get excited. It takes so much more for the dog to get fearful. But if you never allow the dog to be able to get to that neutral stance, you're just going to be battling all the time. And most of y'all are battling every single day, taking your dog for a walk. Why is my dog still pulling? Why is it still acting like this? Why is it still dancing on leash when it sees other things? Why is it still just doing this over and over and over? I'm telling it no. I'm trying to give it what it needs. I'm trying to do what it wants, but it's still just doing this stuff over and over again. It's because the main thing I would say is you're not allowing the dog to just be a dog. The dog has things that the dog has to do. And a dog has things that us as humans can be able to help the dogs through to be able to get into a better place. And that's the one thing that I've realized, especially for a heavy sniffing dog. Some of these dogs don't really smell all that much, but some dogs are just almost what I want to say is obsessive over it, in the sense of because they've never been able to have the opportunity to. They've always just been controlled and said, no, you can't smell this. No, you can't smell that, because it's nasty to us. And you're trying to put your human qualities on your dog, and it's not going to work because your dog is a dog. It's not a human. That's where you're trying to humanize a little bit too much. It loves to smell poop. I don't know why, but they they like doing it. It's just something that just in them that they really enjoy being able to do. And you have to, in my mind, allow them to be able to do what it is that they need to do so that they can be able to calm down and be able to relax. And that just comes down to just allowing the dog to be the dog. The dog needs to smell, and if the dog is scared, you need to stand there and be calm to show the dog there's nothing to worry about. Then the dog will want to match you. The more that the dog starts to see that with you, the more that the dog is going to want to just relax and be okay. But what happens is the dog gets excited and whatever, and you're trying to throw a treat at the dog. The dog's like, you're forcing the dog to stay and continue to keep on getting excited. So that you're not being calm that you want your dog to be. You're being the opposite of what you want your dog to be. And if you're just yanking them, pulling on that leash and just jangling them all around all day, you're being, I'm not gonna use that word, but you're being hostile towards that dog, you're still not being calm. So if you're hostile, the dog is sensing hostility, then the dog is going to in turn want to be hostile himself. And that's why you have these loops that just keep happening, that the dog just keeps staying the same. It's not going anywhere, it's not getting any better. It's something that I just would want someone to just really think about, especially when living in these neighborhoods with stuff that I could do videos. There's a place that I go that it always freaks my dogs out. Like this moment today, they don't like get, oh my goodness, I gotta run away, but they definitely smell stuff that they're just like, I don't wanna be here. I don't wanna be here. And I sometimes, rarely, but usually it's only at the beginning of the trailhead that my dogs will smell something. It's like, let's get going, let's get walking on this trail because it's a little hostile. But most dogs, as soon as you get further in, the dog will calm down, the dog will relax, the dog will feel more in its element, especially the trails out here. You get further away from, say, society. You get further into just the rural rawness of land and space. So the dog is going to feel more confident in that scenario. But when you're getting around where there's thousands of dogs that are peeing and pooping on the same spots all over the place, leaving all these stories behind, it's going to be a sensory overload. And a sensory overload that the dog is just getting too much info that it's going to, for best case, it's going to make the dog go into a panic. And that panic is what I want the dog to get away from. Realize there's nothing to panic because it's old news. It's like the best way I can put it, I don't know why I just thought about that, but that's interesting to looking at it. That's how dogs get what we as humans have as far as remembering the past and getting anxiety. We remember the past, where the dog is remembering the past based on another animal and or even their own selves. They're remembering the past based on that smell, but they're not actually thinking about the past, but they're in the moment in that past. And that's what happens to us as humans when we go into our old thoughts and old thinking, that we start to get anxious and get paranoid and get depressed and get all these things because of some old memories. And that's what the dogs are getting, old memories of things that used to happen, not what's going on right now. An old memory of dog was getting attacked by whatever, and it pottied, and that old memory is there. It's in the ground, and who knows how long it's there for, but it's there. It's there for every dog for the next month to come up to and smell and say, danger. But is it actually danger here? No. It's same with thoughts that we get about a story that happened to you when you were 5 years old. Is that actually going on right now? No. So why are you like getting all this chemical response makeup in your body of I gotta fight or flight this situation when it's not actually going on right now? That's when you need to sit in it and deal with it. You sit in it and you just allow it to just go past to realize it's not actually going on right now. It's something that used to be. And what's happening right now is everything is fine. And that's what I want the dogs to be able to see, that same thing that goes on with us as humans when we go into that thought pattern. Oh my goodness, it's scary. Or oh my goodness, it's over, because overexcited is also just not as good. I don't believe that most humans go into the overexcited stance compared to what I see a lot of dogs do. We go into the over fearful stance. But again, a lot of dogs, they go to those, what do you call it, appeasement stuff, that excitability. We think it's a fear, but it's actually excited, and it's a dog that's using that excitableness to try to escape the fear. So it's trying to like please and do extra stuff as if it is excited because it actually is scared. And that's where things can start to get confusing with a lot of people, because you're like, my dog's not scared. Look, it's like jumping, it's running, it looks like it's having a good time, but it actually is terrified right now. And that's why it's acting the way that it's acting, so that it can try to escape the real feelings of what's going on with it. And that's something that I see from a lot. I see this a lot. I see this a lot in a lot of dogs, that they smell something, they see something, because it's the smells, especially the wind and all the stuff that's always moving. They smell and stuff, and it forces them to get into this level of danger. What's happening? What's going on? And then they have to make a decision what to do in that moment. That decision that they most do is fight. They got to figure out how to fight or flee. So the big thing we need them to understand is be indifferent here. Don't worry. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to care about here. It's fine. There's nothing going on right this second. Something may have happened before, but right now everything is fine. And the more experience they get, the better and better and better and better and better they're gonna be able to process and deal with that situation that goes on with them. And then that process that happens when they actually see the, say, live dog in their face, they're not gonna freak out as fast. It's gonna take them more time to just really slow down and look at it and just say, is there something that I really need to worry about, or is it something from before? Because what stuff that dogs do, they smell each other's like butt the first second that they see another dog. I don't know what it is, but it's just dogs do dog stuff. And we as humans can't say, oh, I don't want my dog to this, because it's a dog. Dogs have to do what dogs do. They go and smell each other. They smell their genitals and they smell their butt, like every time, all the time. That's like the first thing that they go to. They go in and smell each other's butts. And they're reading the story in reality of, are you the one that left that story? Are you the one that's going through these problems? Are you the one that's having this issue? Then they're trying to like dance with each other in a way of figuring out what do I need to do next now? And where are we going now? Because it's funny. I don't know why I thought about it like this, but it's like the concept of the person that is leaving negative comments on a video. I'll beat you up and you're no good. If I saw you in person, I'm gonna do something to you. You could be leaving comments like that. But then when I see you in person, you think you're gonna say that same stuff straight to my face? Or are you gonna have a different tune behind what you're about to do right now? Most cases, you're gonna have something completely different that you're gonna be saying right now. You're not gonna come at me with I'm gonna punch you in the face if I see you the next time I see you. You're gonna look at me and you're gonna say, hi, how you doing? And that's what I see the dogs are doing. The dogs finally meet each other and they're like, hey, how's it going? You know, I don't want no problems with you. I hope we don't have any problems here, so I'm just gonna go this way and you go that way. And then we're like, okay, we're all fine. Everything is okay. But the story that's left behind when they're in their, say, private, in their own time, in their own way, they can say whatever the heck they want to say. And they're gonna act however they want to act. And they can say, I'm the king. I see this with my own personal dogs at the house. When one dog wants to pee on one thing, the other one's got to pee on it, the other one's got to pee on it, and one can say, I'm the boss around here, I'm the king. But then another dog comes in and says, you sure you are? You think that you are? You think you are? I don't know if you are or not. I don't think you are. And then he says, okay, yeah, I'm not. But the story that he left when no one was around was, I'm the best, I'm the one in charge here. But then someone else came in and said, no, you're not, buddy. No, you're not. And that's in reality storylines that are kind of going on with these animals behind what we can see with our eyes. I see it in the behavior I see what the dogs are doing. That some dogs leave a story behind that say, hey, there's something weird going on here. And I don't allow my dog to just run away from that. I in reality, that's the word I can use there, is force them to deal with it so they can get through it, so they can realize there's nothing to worry about here. There's nothing to worry about. And that's something that I just realized with allowing a dog to be a dog. They got stuff that they do that doesn't make sense to us, but it's their way of being able to communicate. The main thing is, I'll use that word, they're social animals. And it's something that for some reason, like most all of dog training stuff kind of wants to strip that socialness out of the dog. There's like, don't allow them to meet dogs. Don't allow them to smell nothing. Don't allow them to mark on nothing. Don't allow them to go potty over there. Don't allow them to do nothing in the social aspect of who that dog represents. They're trying to put it to be a human. And a human, we don't really talk too much to everybody. We don't really interact too much with anybody. We don't really do too much all that same way. And that we as humans are doing the same thing. Becoming, what is that word? Recluses, where we're just hiding in the closet, hiding in some old clothes and hiding in the closet and don't want to be seen. And that's being destructive to us as well, because we are also social. But for the dog, it's just so normal. Don't let them smell nothing. Don't let them potty nothing. Don't let them interact with nothing. Just make them stay next to your side. And that's silly. We're not allowing the dog to be what it is. And we wonder why we're struggling with these dogs. Thank you. It's fascinating to see what my dogs really do out here. I don't know why I've gotten to the point of just I see them. I guess it's because I could see how they react and respond. How they move, I guess I can say. They move so chill. They're not like doing that. The tongues aren't hanging out. I still can't watch like a dog training video trying to show me how to work with my dog, and the tongue of the dog is just dragging. The dog is like obsessive. The dog is like just tired on tired, and you're trying to say, oh, see, and I got my dog walking next to me. I just never see my dogs like that. Outside, if I'm running hard, I'm running real hard. So I'll probably run back. We got about a 5-mile run back. At the end of that 5 miles, I'll see my dog look like that, tired. And in that moment, I'm like, of course my dog isn't gonna do anything. It's gonna basically listen to absolutely everything that I'm asking for from it. But I just never see my dogs just in a place like this, just hanging out, just obsessed, like tongue hanging, dragging. They're just so calm. And that's why it's so easy to just turn my back and just allow them to just do whatever they do. Because they're so calm. They're so chill. They're not like ramping up in this like crazy madness. They didn't smell something, think I gotta run. They didn't get into something, think I gotta go chase and go and get into that. They're just so relaxed. And it makes it easy to count on what they're gonna do by seeing how relaxed they are. That's something that I used to say a lot with this Dalmatian, a lot of videos, just a transition of where I was and where I am now, of seeing how, I used to say it, give me about 5 minutes and she's about to go to that point that she's like, she just builds. So she's calm, and then she'll start building and building and building and building and building. Like, oh, I gotta put her on a leash now because she's about to go take off at a deer or do whatever. And I no longer do that at all today. It's like completely gone. That build goes to like, hey, look, there's deer running across the path. And she just looks at him and she's like, oh, that's cool, that's neat. And then we just move on. And it's no longer like this obsessiveness, unless I'm agging it on, because there's times that I push her to when we're running. And I put her on the harness and she gets to pulling. So if I see a deer, I ag her on, I say, let's go get it, get it, get it. She knows that term today of like, let's go. And she gets to what's up, girl? You can come here. She gets to full blown, just absolute chasing and just going absolutely wild. But as far as like when we're just free walking, even free running, she never gets to that point that I have to dial her back down again because she's going too far. She knows how to regulate all of that on her own at this moment, based on me guiding her through that, of saying, hey, I know you're all excited, but it's okay. We're gonna get through this. And this, how she is right now, this is how she is when she's walking around out here. She's just like, she's in the world. She's just hanging out. She's not like obsessive anymore. And that's through my brain of seeing it, of what I'm talking about, is standing there and being there. So at first, when I would see a squirrel, when I would see a deer, I literally would just stop because her brain is just going. So if I took one step forward, her brain is in this explosiveness of like, I gotta go get it, we're gonna go get it. So I would just stand there and wait until she's just completely calm. And then when she's completely calm, okay, let's take a step forward. And then she would like ramp back up again, like, and I would stand there again and just wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And then she'll calm down. They're doing that over and over and over again. She's not how she is. That I never need to put a leash on her when I see that there's a deer 10 feet in front of her face. I just say, Ophi, come here. And she's like, oh, okay. We're not gonna go after that. It's no longer this obsessiveness. It's just chill. It's just hanging out. You're such a good girl. You got a cactus in your forehead though. You still got it there. Have to get it with the tweezers. What is something that I just noticed about dogs do dog stuff. And the dog stuff that the dogs do, we just gotta let the dogs do it and stop getting in your feelings of that's nasty. I don't go smell other people's butts, but dogs do. Just because I don't do it doesn't mean that I shouldn't allow the dog to, because it's something that the dog just, in my mind, has to do. It has to do it. They don't have a choice, they have to do it. That's what calms them, that's what relaxes them. They can verify what's going on, they can say, okay, there's no problem here, everything is all right. So then they just relax, and they're like, okay, I don't need to worry no more. But it's something that, for whatever reason, our society today is trying to make a dog be what a dog isn't. I don't want my dog to smell nothing. I don't want my dog to smell poop. I don't want my dog to go over there. I don't want my dog to interact with that. I don't want my dog to do anything that the dog is. That's what makes me, I would question is, well, why have the dog if you don't want a dog to be a dog? If you're looking for something else, then get something else. If you don't want your what you're caretaking to be what it is, then get what you want to be what you looking for. So if you want your dog to act like a human, don't get a dog. Have a child. Straight up. Have a kid. Adopt a kid. Go take care of some kids somewhere. Do something if that's what you want to do. If you're in that position, it's like, oh, I'm too late in the game to have children. I can't have kids. There's an unlimited amount of opportunities that you can still get what you need from that. Don't get a dog thinking I'm going to make the dog be a child. It's not that. A dog is a dog. A dog's going to have to do what dogs have to do. Just live that and be that. And you're going to watch that your dog is going to get much better. And be patient and be calm. And you're going to watch that your dog is just going to get better and better and better. It is what it is. It has to happen that way because you're allowing a dog to be what it is, a dog.